Hello everyone, welcome to my space in UK RN, Nigeria RN. I'm currently practicing in the United Kingdom. Today I just want to just share a story. The purpose of this story actually is to advocate for things we can do better back home. I had an experience recently this week, and I felt like talking about it is really gonna help, or at least it's gonna put a voice out there. Maybe it's been said before, but I feel like I should also add my own voice to say we deserve better back home. I'm talking about in Africa, I'm talking about my country, Nigeria. So let's get into it. So last few days, I can't remember the day again in particular, there was an accident in my street. Accidents rarely occur here, but then there was this old man that was trying to get across the street. So I think what really happened was a lorry, a kind of big truck was coming, trucks that carry foodstuffs and all that was coming, and kind of delivery truck. And I guess the man, out of shock, because from the story he was not actually hit, but out of the shock of seeing the lorry, he fell down and he sustained some injuries because he fell, and he's elderly. So then that's not even the catch. What I really want to talk about is the emergency response. I mean, this happened in front of my house, practically in front, just few meters away from my house. And I didn't even know what was going on. Because there was no, shouting, screaming. Nobody was screaming and shouting. It was just like a normal conversation environment. I just stepped out of my house and I noticed there were already two ambulances around. I was like, oh, what's going on? Then I now saw the man on the floor, and lo and behold, I don't even think if it was up to 5 minutes that the incident happened. Because over here, once an incident happened, people don't take their phone and start videoing what's going on. They respect privacy so much here. The first thing people do is they call 999. So they call the emergency line and you tell them what happened, you tell them what you need. And I tell you, in the space of few minutes, very few minutes, I saw two loaded ambulance trucks. They were not just loaded with equipment, they were loaded with staff. So there was specific ambulance service for that area, and they came still on that spot that the man fell. They've already secured an airway. They were already sanctioning him. They were already, giving all the basic first aid and basic life support that could make this man make it at that point. So I think he hit his head, so he sustained a head injury, so they had to keep him stable. And then another thing I noticed was that everybody around knew what to do. Like normal civilians, they were not medical staff, they were not nurses or doctors. Everybody knew what to do. Like some people ran into their homes, brought out some bedsheets and provided privacy for the patient, like covered the area. Then some people were, people have an idea of what to do in an emergency even before the paramedic came. Because even before the paramedic came, someone has already immobilized him, kept him stable, and they held him stable at that spot until the emergency response team came. Now, why am I saying all this? Now, this is an elderly man, of course, and then back home in my country, if such a thing were to happen, is either people would be arguing about where to take him, who to carry him, what to do. Before you know it, even when someone wants to help, the highest help they know they can render is a bundle you throw inside the car and rush it. Now, my house from the nearest hospital is not up to 3 minutes drive. I'm not exaggerating. But then nobody was running around to drive anybody anywhere, because you don't know what has happened inside the person's system. So you try to immobilize the person first, attend to the person there. I mean, in the next 5 minutes, there were one more ambulance, 5 police cars, a fire truck. If you know what a fire truck is like, they call it fire truck, but it's not just for fire. They respond to all manner of emergencies here in the UK. A fire truck, and I was like, ooh, it was just one person, though, like, and a fire truck was already down. So, and one thing I noticed, that everybody knew their limits. The paramedics were just attending to the man, trying to secure his airway, A to E assessment, just trying to keep him stable. They did not try to move him until people that were trained to move someone in case of spinal injury came, and then used their equipment and made the man more stable. I mean, in the space of, I stayed there, they stayed on that spot. So the police was doing their work in ensuring safety of the scene, trying to get to know what happened, trying to gather information. That every paramedic on the scene was working together to just make sure that man was stabilized at that point. We had over 15 to 20 paramedics on spot attending to one person, and this does not affect any other emergency response around that area. I mean, I was there and I was like, what is so hard? We have the people that have this training, we have the knowledge, we have the human resource. What is so hard in our government providing such facilities for us back home? There are some places back home that if calling an ambulance, you're just wasting your time, because even if the ambulance is there, it might not even have a fuel. Even if it has a fuel, there's no equipment inside. The ambulance is just coming to drive you as a vehicle. I mean, this ambulance, I happened to see the ambulance because I had my ID card on me, so I could verify my identity, who I was, so they could allow me to help in the emergency situation. So I mean, the ambulance has oxygen suction machine. I mean, as big as a minor surgery could be done in that one small vehicle called an ambulance. I mean, it shocked me so much, and I'm using this opportunity to advocate for our people back home. We don't deserve. There are a lot of deaths that happen that are unnecessary, that could have been, even in the accident and emergency unit. Staff know what to do, they are trained, but there is nothing to work with. I don't even know how many hospitals have a cardiac monitor. I don't even know how many hospitals, I mean, over here, when you are rushed to a hospital, you hear things like CT scan, this one, MRI. I mean, they just keep wheeling you in, wheeling you out. They even have X-ray on wheels. They can come to where you are, X-ray. You know what is going on immediately, like in an hour. I mean, we can do better. We can do better. I really hope that, and another thing I'm advocating for, and another thing I want to encourage you is, as an adult, you should have a little idea of first aid. Even if our government doesn't provide this, you could go out there, learn what to do, understand what an airway means. It might not be for someone else, it might be for you and a member of your family. Take first aid courses online. Most times they are free. Know what you can do in an emergency to help. Even before we start looking for the government to come, learn what you can do. And then I also want to call on other people that have this knowledge, that have witnessed. And then the thing that bothers me is, our leaders come here for healthcare. They see this system. So why is it that we don't have these systems in place back home? I mean, in the next 1 hour of this incident, the paramedics were still there attending to this man, making sure that everything was happening there. They didn't move him until they got him stable. And immediately they got him stable, the next thing I started hearing was, they are flying him. Before you know it, an helicopter landed in the nearest field and flew him to the particular hospital. So there was no point rushing him to a hospital that was 3 minutes nearby, when that hospital was not the hospital that he needed. So they stayed on the spot, resuscitated him, gave him everything he needed, and flew him to a specialist hospital. And guess what? Nobody was asking anybody for money. Nobody was saying, go and make a deposit. Nobody was saying, No, as far as you have it, even if you don't have a health insurance, they attend to you first before we find out that you don't have a health insurance, then you can pay. But as long as you have your national insurance covering you here, you don't have to bother about anything. But then I'm just using this as an opportunity to say, dear Nigerian leaders, dear Nigerian medical leaders, we can do better. We have what it takes. We just need to put our, have a little humanity and put people in our shoes. You run here when you have medical challenges, and then you get, very prompt services, and then you come back home and you leave us in ruins. Someone has there's a road traffic accident. There is no, even because there's a road traffic accident, they're asking you for police clearance before they can even you that even did good Samaritan to bring someone to the hospital becomes a problem. I mean, we can't just sit down and just keep looking and watching as though we do not know what is going on. I am advocating for a better emergency response, both in our emergency response team on the highway and also in our accident and emergency sections in the hospitals. Let's stop underusing. We have staff that are trained, that know how to do these processes. Please let us do better. Those of us that are in positions to make these things happen, please speak up. Please speak up. We buy cars and give politicians. We buy cars and donate to other countries. Buying ambulances and equipping them will not even cost much in our national budget than what we are squandering to give to individuals. We need to do better. I mean, I can't get that experience off my head. I just don't even know what to say about it. I hope that this goes out there and sensitize us, the young ones, to go for knowledge, get first aid knowledge, equip yourself of what you can do when a child is choking, when someone has slumped, just get some first aid knowledge for yourself and for your family safety. And then to our leaders, please, we need a better emergency response equipping in our country. We have what it takes. I advocate on behalf of everyone out there, on behalf of every patient out there, we need a better emergency response system in Nigeria. I hope that this goes a long way, even if it is a little contribution to sensitize people that someone had an accident or something happened doesn't mean that there's nothing we could do. Let us do better, guys. Let us do better. I mean, these people don't even... Let us do better. Let us do better. Till next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and make sure you learn a first aid skill today. See you.